Hello again, everybody. It's Will DeGraw. Today I want to talk about breathing techniques. Breathing techniques in yoga and Tai Chi are vitally important, and they incorporate and infuse themselves throughout all of the practice and the forms and the principles of both yoga and Tai Chi. In each of the experiences of those different realms, the expansion of the breath and the contraction of the breath brings life force energy into your meditation and your movement. So in yoga, the word for breath work is pranayama. Pranayama means energy, life force. And yama means control. And I have some handouts that will be available in this video inserted, and I'll also show them to you in a few moments. But as I look over the terms of pranayama, the pranayama is the energy, vital life force, controlling it for your well-being, your empowerment. So whether it's yoga or through the Tai Chi, there's both movement in the breath work which connects and integrates into our well-being. Today I'm going to highlight 5 different breathing techniques that you can incorporate into both meditation and then the movement for both yoga and Tai Chi. The first one is simply really belly breathing, 1-to-1 ratio belly breathing. Now, the belly, the diaphragm, is really the component of the breath work for this first technique. Now, what I invite us to do here is bring your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart center, and just feel the natural rhythm of your breath work, breathing in and breathing out. Slowly, deliberately, with intention and purpose, we find meaning in that breath work. Now, in our series, those are words that I use during our meditation experience in the beginning and at the end of our practice. But here in this demonstration of breathing techniques, the right hand on the belly just invites and allows, gives permission for the belly to expand and distend outward on the inhale, and then on the exhale, it comes inwardly towards the spine. So it's breathing out as you inhale, and then in as you exhale. So it's a bellowing out and inward as you exhale. Now, the idea of the left hand on the heart center, the chest, the upper chest, is really designed simply to recognize that that part of the torso, your chest, is stationary. So really the action is from the belly, the diaphragm, which is immediately below the lungs, the muscles there, that just expand and contract the breath work. So in this 1-to-1 ratio of belly breath, or perhaps diaphragmatic breath, diaphragm breath, belly breath, natural breath, you're finding a natural breath cycle of 1-to-1. So you're breathing in and breathing out on a 1-to-1 ratio. So everyone's breath cycle is different. So for example, we'll count mine here as I inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Let's try that again. And try it with yourself. We'll count up to the 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. In that 1-to-1 ratio of belly breath, you're obviously evening out your breath cycle. And that's really, really important in our movements of both yoga and Tai Chi. When we inhale and expand on a yoga or a Tai Chi movement, we're inhaling, and then as we bring our hands or movement inwardly, we're predominantly exhaling. So for example, in one of the experiences of meditation, we're chanting. So for example, I have our hands on our lap, and I say, begin to wiggle the fingers on your hands and the toes on your feet. Drop your hands off your knees, inhaling your hands up and over your head, clapping above your head. And on your next breath cycle, you exhale your hands to heart center. And as we do this, we're chanting. So let's just practice this again. We'll practice on the chant of glory. How's that? So hands are on your knees. Begin to wiggle the fingers on your toes, dropping your hands off your knees, inhaling your hands up and over your head, clapping above your head. On your next breath cycle, bring your thumb knuckles to your heart center on the exhale and call out and chant the word glory. Glory. So there in that 1-to-1 ratio of breath work, we're inhaling up, expanding, exhaling, inwardly contracting. Very similar to Tai Chi movements. So with Tai Chi, for example, with thumb to pinky reeling silk, we bring one hand, for example, the right hand towards your belly and the palm is facing up. Now the palm is going to come out in front of us and then it's going to retract back. And as it does so, what we're going to do is rotate the thumb to the pinky as it inhales up, exhale back in. Inhaling up, exhale back in. Inhaling thumb to pinky, exhale pinky to thumb, rotating back in. So there in the Tai Chi movement of reeling silk, we're expanding outward and bringing it in with the exhale. And that's really important. That's a 1-to-1 movement. Now the other movement in that series, perhaps the second component of a breathing technique, is also diaphragmatic breathing, but it's a 1-to-2 ratio of your breath cycle. And what does that mean? Well, it means one series of your inhale, perhaps you're counting cognitively, intuitively in your heart center up to the number 3 or perhaps number 4. And then you're exhaling to the number 6 or 8. So it's a 1-to-2 math ratio. So in the sense of breathing, you're inhaling and you're consciously, deliberately slowing your exhale down. So let's try that out in a couple of different ways. Let's bring the right hand to the belly and the heart and the left hand to the heart center. And just find a natural rhythm here in your breath cycle. And as I said, you can do this both through your meditation experience or through your movement in yoga or Tai Chi. And in particularly with this experience, it helps to slow the body system down and invites and relaxation in a deeper level. So the idea of an exhaling twice as long is to bring the body, bring the energy, bringing the life force in control to a more relaxed state. So here we go. Let's try with our regular 1-to-1 breath, and just find your natural rhythm of breathing in and breathing out at your own pace. 1-to-1 ratio. And now as we begin to transition to a 1-to-2 ratio, we inhale up to, let's say, the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we exhale to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling. 1, 2, 3. Exhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there in that ratio is a 1 to 2. Now, there's all sorts of math formulas, and I am not a mathematician, but you can do a 1 to 2, such as counting up to the number 2 and exhaling to the number 4, right? Or you can count inhale up to 3 and exhale to 6. Or 4 inhale, 8 exhale. That's a bit extensive. Requires tremendous control to compact that exhale to the number 8. But nevertheless, it's still possible. I think a safe realm, which helps to start and begin the practice of conscious breathing, is really the 2 to 4 or the 3 to 6. That's a good zone to work through. So whether you're in meditation or movement, you can incorporate that into your breath work. So for example, if we are indeed working on meditation in chair Tadasana, which is mountain pose, our hands are on our knees and our palms are facing up. This is just one of the stances of chair Tadasana. You can have in Tai Chi, you can have your left hand over your belly button and your right hand over the left hand, over your belly button, your Tan Chien, and just hold this pose. And this is comparable to chair Tadasana. And this is the Wuji beginning phase for meditation or contemplation in Tai Chi. So here in this experience, either your hands are on your knees or your hands are on your belly button. You're doing the 1-to-1 ratio, and then you're cognitively saying, okay, I'm ready for the 1 to 2. So now you're in the point of really working and slowing that breath down on the exhale. So let's try that out. So let me go into a 1-to-1 ratio first off. And now I'm going to transition from 2 to 4. And you can immediately feel that rhythm slowing your body, your energy, your life force quietly, gently to a peace or balance and equilibrium. Now, a couple of things about that is that as you're exhaling, you're cognitively remembering to slow down and be gentle with your breath pattern. There's also 2 other points of contact. Aside from the inhalation and the exhalation, there's 2 other points of contact for all breath work techniques. And that's the pause, the microsecond pause, or what's called in yoga a kumbhaka. Kumbhaka is the pause between the inhale and the exhale, and the exhale and the inhale. Those 2 points of contact are of the pause of the expansion of who we are in the greater cosmos. It's the settling and the rising, the elevation. So in the breath work, you're inhaling And at that fraction of a transition, you pause and then you exhale. And as before you inhale, there's that fraction of a millisecond that you pause and then you inhale. So in between the inhalation and the exhalation, you're sandwiching in a kumbhaka, a pause at that breath cycle. In a few moments, I'll talk about 3 other techniques which give shape to our breath cycle. Here in the 1-to-1 and the 1-to-2, it gives us a rhythm, a flow, a 1-to-1, a 1-to-2. That's a ratio. In the next series, we'll be talking quite shortly about a shape to our breath cycle. And the other thing that I want to bring up is really the consciousness of an alignment. So whether we're in meditation or in the movement of yoga or Tai Chi, we're always looking for that spine to be elongated, the core to be strong, the lower back, the tailbone tucked down. Now in the yoga series, Tai Chi series, we focus in on Shertadasana. So in that realm, I just want to explore those different cue points. And I think there's like 15 or 20 different cue points. As I said, I'm not a mathematician, but I can count enough to know that there's a lot. So here, for example, in setting up our breath work, we're setting up our core to receive that breath, that life force energy. So whether it's chair Tadasana or lying flat on the floor in Shavasana, relaxation pose, which is also this pose seated, we're focusing in on the different cue points from our feet to the crown of our head and vice versa in the Tai Chi form. So feet are flat on the floor, our toes are pointing straight. We're anchoring into the big toe and the little toe, the pinky, so the 4 corners, and then drawing back to our heel. Imagining 2 points of contact with your heel, so the 4 corners of your feet are anchored and secured. Your feet are flat, toes are pointed straight, knees are over your ankles, so they're stacked over your ankles. And now your knees are hip width distance apart in line with your hip points. And then you take your hands to your hips and you rock back and forth on your sits bones, anchoring and securing, feeling grounded and rooted, feeling the presence of centeredness, balance, equilibrium. Coming back to a neutral spine, you take the palms of your hands to your lower back, your kidneys, fingertips pointing down, elbows pressed out wide. On the next breath cycle, slide your fingertips into your seat cushion. That tucks your tailbone, your coccyx, down into the seat. And now one hand to your lower back and one hand to your belly. Your right hand to your belly, doesn't really matter. Belly button to spine zeroes in. Belly button zips up like a jacket, like a zipper to your heart center. Then your hands come to your side body, your ribs, your intercostal muscles. So from the sits bones to your shoulders, you elevate the ribs. You're growing tall. Now what all is that doing? That's increasing the lung capacity for your breath work. Now your right hand comes to your left shoulder, your left hand comes to your right shoulder. And now you elevate your elbows, and now you're really expanding that capacity, that cylinder, that torso for greater expansion of your breath. And then arms come out to the letter T. Exhale your hands down by your side. Inhale your shoulders to your ears. Roll them back down your back pocket. Inhaling your hands up onto your lap. Flip your palms up to receive the grace and blessings of life. And here in this demonstrative fashion, we might as well go ahead and understand the power of giving of ourselves and receiving of others. So we give ourselves as a gift, and we extend our hands and inhale, and exhale, bringing our hands back in on receiving the gift of others in our life. So it's an inhaling outward and an exhale inward with the hands. And now in this position, in this meditative position, we anchor into our sits bones and we elongate the spine to the crown of our head, shifting our ears over our shoulders, doorbelling your nose inward, ding dong, keeping a level straight gaze. The halo that we wear, elevating, elongating upward, and releasing that back down to your hands, your knees to your hands. And now here in this chair Tadasana mountain pose, we are ready for meditation. And then we become prepared for our inward journey of breath work. And so the synonymous connection between breath work and meditation and movement all come together here. So we're here in chair Tadasana, chair mountain pose. The carriage, the constitution, the integrity of our muscular skeletal system, the muscles and the bones, are all intact in this alignment and this stacking. The lung capacity is expanding, filling up with air. And now we turn inwardly on the breath cycle, the breath work on breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly, deliberately, with intention and purpose, we find meaning in the power of our breath work. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And so in this moment of kind of a workshop experience of learning, you're starting to focus in on your breath work, and that's where you're cueing yourself in and saying, okay, I'm going to do a one-to-one breath work right now, and allow that to continue on and explore and witness and feel and discover what that means for you right here, right now. And then you're going to say, well, maybe I'm going to try a 1-to-2 ratio. And so there you go, in breathing, inhaling to the count of 2 to 3, and then exhaling with the diaphragm, the belly, on the count of 4 to 6, right? So there's that inhale and exhale, that expansion and playing, having fun, singing, dancing, joy in your breath work. So meditation is not necessarily just chilling out. It's an active time of connectivity to ourselves and the greater cosmos, your higher power, your experience of the higher power. So in that movement of connectivity, we're quieting the body, the spirit, the mind, and inviting connectivity, union with an experience of stillness and expansiveness. It's a juxtapose of positioning. It's like a contradiction, quiet but yet expanding. So in that expansion, we're quieting, we're slowing down our breath on a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2 ratio. And you're doing that both in meditation. Now with meditation, it's really just sitting still and sitting quiet, but you're actively remembering your breath cycle. And that's just one of the different techniques, the 5 different techniques. There's other more complex ways of configuring meditation, but the simplicity is being aware of, feeling, connecting, letting go, and just being in tune with your breath work. So it's really critically important to understand that the breath techniques, these 5 breath techniques, are really core and fundamental to both meditation and movement in both yoga and Tai Chi. So as we're setting ourselves up, we're breathing, we're remembering our kumbhaka, our pause on the inhale and then the exhale and vice versa at the 2 points. We're understanding the ratio. We really are feeling we're great with our math. And now we're introducing the idea of giving shape to our breath work. Now in our meditation experience, you can keep with one and then add others, or you just stay with one for the whole series of meditation of, let's just try 5 minutes of stillness. Work your way up to 10 minutes. Fantastic if you can do 15. 30, you're going to probably be floating. But believe it or not, in the buoyancy of life, even if you move up towards 5 minutes, you can feel the buoyancy, the floating of your life cycle in who you are. So invite yourself, creating the opportunity for meditation stillness in a quiet room, gentle music in the background, also to connect you to a positive distraction association with stillness and chillness, and really connecting to sounds is fine. Gentle light, music, air diffusers, oil diffusers, scents are nice in the meditation experience. So you're creating this atmosphere, this environment of invitation. You're inviting yourself to, giving yourself permission to be present. So here in the experience, we've discussed now 2 techniques, the 1-to-1 ratio, and then now the 1-to-2 ratio. And now we're going to give shape to our breath. The first shape, and there are handouts that I'm going to insert into this video, and the first one is circular breath. Now, I once wanted to be a medical illustrator, and this is the highlight of that experience. Before computer-generated drawings and so forth, people actually used to draw the body, and this is my concept of the lungs, the trachea, and the diaphragm. And in the experience of circular breath, that's the third technique, circular breath, we start at the belly. And for the sake of this, I like to go on the right side. So you start at your belly button, at the diaphragm, and circular breath is no different than anything else other than a circle. So you're starting here, breathing up on the 1/2 of your lungs, on your 1/2 of your body, on the right side, inhaling upward, and at the top of your heart center here, your pause, your kumbhaka, that brief millisecond, and then you're exhaling down. Pausing, kumbhaka, inhaling, pausing, exhaling. Pausing, inhaling, pausing, exhaling. So there's your circular breath, your circle breath at your own pace and at your own journey. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio in this capacity of your circular breath, the ratio. And then you can also introduce the 1-to-2 ratio. So you're breathing in on 1/2 up to the number 2, and then exhaling deliberately and slowing your breath cycle down through the count of 4. So let's try that. Breathing in, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, 1, 2. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's your invitation in circular breath to capture not only your shape but your ratio. So there's the integration of your your 3 breathing techniques, 1-to-1, 1-to-2, and then circular breath. And so you're incorporating that breathing in shape of your breath cycle. The 4th technique is another shape, and that is capsule breath. We all know what a pill looks like. Let's take a fish oil capsule, right? It looks like a cylinder. Looks like a cylinder. And it's elongated, longer, and it's not circular. It's a capsule. And so the sides are longer, but it also still has that transition points on the top and the bottom. And it's also got the kumbhaka, the pause. So in the next handout of capsule breath, which is this diagram, lungs, trachea, diaphragm. On this right side I have inhale, and on this left side I have exhale. And so in this experience I have gentle instructions here on the bottom. So we're starting off on the belly, and instead of a circle we're doing a capsule. So we have a smaller circle here, or a roundedness, as we come up and down. So inhaling upwards, straight up from the belly button across to the top of our chest. Around the top of the heart we come down, straight down. So instead of circles we do a capsule. Now you can draw your fingertips on your body, starting from your belly, drawing up on the right side, inhaling, transitioning in a circle, half circle there, and then down on the exhale, rounding and up, inhaling, exhaling. And again, on this 1-to-1 ratio, you can make that cognitive thinking decision to transition to 1-to-2. So inhaling, 1, 2. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, 1, 2. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remembering your 2 kumbakas at the top and the bottom. So there we have capsule breath as our 4th technique to examine and explore. Now you can give shape into not only your meditation, but also your movement. So while your arm might be going out in reeling silk, or your hands coming up and over your head, or maybe your leg is coming out, inhaling your leg straight out, exhaling your leg back in, inhaling your leg straight out, exhaling and bringing it back in. And here, as we bring our leg in, inhaling out, straight out, we inhale our leg outward to the side and exhale back in. Inhale our leg straight out to the side. This is half letter V in a series. Exhale down. And exhale your leg down, Yogi marching toes. You can also do a point and a flex, which is another technique that we do, or motion, an asana, or a posture in yoga. Inhale, point your toe. Exhale, flex your toe to your nose. Inhale, point your toe. Exhale, point your toe to your nose. So in yoga and in the Tai Chi movement form, you're finding the inhale, expansion, and exhale. But you also can cognitively remember your shape. And so as you're doing this, you can imagine circular breath or capsule breath. Giving that fish oil capsule structure to your breathing technique. Now, the 5th technique is a boxed shape. So we had circular, capsule, and now we have a box shape with 3 levels. It's a 3-level tiered cake. Okay? And it's called 3-part breathing. And this handout is also available on the video as I insert it. And here is just recognizing that our lungs, from our belly, our diaphragm, from the belly button to the top of our lungs, to the very top here. I'm not medically oriented at this point in my life, but the very tippy top of our lungs. So we're breathing at 3 sectional intervals of our lungs. So we can start with, for example, with my hands. So my hands are on my belly, crossing over my belly button. Number 2 section right here, mid-torso, just around the heart center where my thumb is. And the 3rd tier right above. So I'm going to use my hands as a guide to understand three-part breath. You're welcome to do the same thing. So let's, for example, take our right hand to our belly and just feel the natural breath cycle. And now on this next breath cycle, what we're going to do is breathe from the belly to the thumb, and then we're going to progressively go hands, palms width upward. So feel that breath. Now fill up the lungs all the way up to your hand. And now fill up the next hand. And now fill up the next hand. And now very gently relax all of the air out very quietly. Let's try that again. Hand at your belly. Breathe from your belly, from the diaphragm up to your thumb. And now from your pinky to your thumb. And then from your pinky back up to your thumb on the third component. And release down. Let's try that one more time. Three-part breath, giving structure, three-part, three-tiered cake, a box to breath work. First hand, second hand's worth, third hand's worth, release it all down. So there's the fifth technique of breathing. 1 to 1, 1 to 2 gives a ratio to your breath work. Next comes circular breath, capsule breath, and then three-part breath. So those are 5 basic techniques of both for meditation and movement in yoga and Tai Chi. I'm going to back up and say breathing through the nose. So in the movement of yoga and Tai Chi, it's pretty sure, predominant that your mouth is closed if as best as you can, and you're not breathing through your mouth. It's all breathing through your nose. So it's breathing in and out slowly, deliberately, with intention and purpose through your nose. And now come to think of it, that seems very commonplace, but there's many folks who just have that opportunity to breathe through their mouth, and the invitation here is really discover a relaxation effect through your nose. So in all of the different techniques, it's really breath through your nose. So breathing in and out. So I'm going to quiet my voice, which is often very hard to do, and just silence my voice and just experience together your breath and my breath in union. With that in mind, you might audibly, with your ears, hear your breath through your nose to your ears. There's the eustachian tubes that run from your ears to your throat, and so there's this sense of oceanic ujjayi breath that you might hear, that sound of the waves, the ocean waves, the ebbs and the flows, that call to the sea that people talk about called oceanic breath. And so in our meditation, as we have our nose, our breath through our nose and our mouth closed, we may experience that sound in our inner ears, in that cognition of the oceanic ujjayi breath, victory breath. So what we're going to do here is just explore that component. We've done all the different connections with the 5 techniques, but now we're just going to still our heart and being and focus in on the stillness of breath, and through that connecting with and to our nose and the oceanic breath. So take a few moments. Another technique I think this comes from Tibetan monks, is another hand gesture technique, is one hand, doesn't matter really which one hand, one palm underneath the other. And then you connect your thumbs together. And your elbows are out wide. So different techniques. I think I've now introduced 3 different ones in this here series. Is your hands flipped up onto your knees, receiving the power and grace of the presence of gift, coming and giving and receiving. Hands onto your tan chien, your belly button, your energy source through Tai Chi. And then a Buddhist monk gesture is the palms together, one over each other, underneath each other, and then your thumbs touching in your lap, elbows out wide. And as you're working on that position, you're also, of course, remembering your Tadasana, your elevation, filling out your lungs and your body with a lengthening of the torso. So you're increasing your lung capacity as you sit up tall. I'm going to also make another tangential. I invite us to think about moving away from the back of your chair. Now I'm going to turn my chair over to the side, and I'm going to show you how much space is between my chair and my back. And this is a critical, important technique also in not only the breathing techniques, but also in carrying through with our yoga postures in our series. So I'm going to turn my chair to the side. You stay right where you are. And I'm going to turn my chair to the side. And if I was sitting as I was, I'm sitting on my sits bones, my tailbone, my coccyx is scooched down into the chair. You slide your fingertips into your seat cushion, right? And now you can see that space between my sits bones and the back of the chair. There's about 4 to 5 inches here at different points. And you can feel the elongation, the elevation, whether your hands are on your knees or in your lap or on your tan chien. You're feeling that rising, the elevation of your torso. And this is where I say about sitting tall and your ears over your shoulders and doorbelling your nose inward. You can then feel and see perhaps the alignment of your spine in the back of your head. So in this breathing technique movement, you're anchoring and securing, you're grounding, you're rooting into a correct alignment posture for greater lung capacity. Okay? I'm going to just turn back the other way. So we're now back here in the chair Tadasana. So let's just explore breathing and breathing through your nose and reconnecting with the oceanic breath, the flowing of your breath. And maybe you can hear the ocean and the seagulls and the gentle rhythm of the waves crashing on the beach and receding back in. So there's your movement of Tai Chi. There's the gift of yourself and receiving. There's the ebb and the flow, the comings and the goings, all in your breath cycle. All these things are happening. All these things are happening in your breath cycle. So here we are. Let's try this out again. Hands underneath, thumbs touching, and just feel that presence. And believe it or not, I'm going to silence my voice, and we're going to enter into that experience of gentle meditation for a few moments. But breathe through the nose and see if you can hear your own breath work. Gently awakening, feeling refreshed, feeling rejuvenated in your spirit, your mind, and your body. We begin to wiggle the fingers on our hands and the toes on our feet. Wonderful. You know, that was just like maybe 3 or 4 minutes. We may have popped into 5 minutes, but you can immediately feel the stillness. What I truly do invite you to do is explore those 5 minutes of silence in your room, in a quiet part of your house, wherever you are. Expand it perhaps to 10, 15 minutes. You truly would be floating and buoyant in life if you were up to 30 minutes a day. And that is both in the morning for 30 minutes and opportunity, for any meditation in the afternoon, evening. So try to find your own best time. A lot of people find that meditation stillness is great in the morning as they get up. Sometimes it's really beneficial before you go to bed to slow the body down and find peace before you enter into sleep and deeper senses of relaxation and REM sleep. So it prepares the body. It prepares the body for sleep. And then conversely, doing meditation in the morning prepares the body for all that might occur, the challenges, the energy that presents itself during the course of the day. And of course, if you can, it would be incredibly wonderful to meditate at lunchtime or noontime or any time during the lunch or the afternoon hours to make that continuity of connectivity in relaxation. Hard to do. Hard to do, but still it's an invitation, it's a goal. Do I do it? I actually don't. It would be wonderful, but I do meditate. And I think what happens in your meditation practice and with your breathing techniques is that you bring these into your life all the time then. As you cultivate and practice and train yourself on these 5 simple techniques, you naturally include them into everyday life from sunrise to sunset. And soon enough, you're mindfully meditating, you're actively engaging in your breath cycle. You're queuing yourself up at the doctor's office, waiting in line at the grocery store, at a stoplight. Maybe you're driving, you're focusing, someone's driving for you, you're a passenger. You have an opportunity to meditate, an opportunity to just simply tune in, witness, observe, explore your own breath work. Even in that fraction of a second, you're connecting and you're actively packaging your wellness plan, your breath work. So really the invitation is not to necessarily chisel it out into increments of morning, afternoon, evening, or any point in between, or different components of that polarity of sunrise, sunset, but perhaps to incorporate all of this movement of breath work into everyday life. So there's your gift. That's your wellness plan for who you are. So it's an invitation, a cherished invitation. And as you train yourself, as you cultivate this experience, it becomes a natural experience of life. It's like you don't even think about it. But it is a deliberate effort to learn it or unlearn what you have learned that may not have served you well in a breathing technique. But these 5 breathing techniques are really important to understand that in your wellness, you can give a ratio as a mathematician to your breath work. And as an artist, you can give shape to who your breath work is for you. So in terms of the ratio, let's remember a few things. It's a 1-to-1, breathing in and breathing out on a 1-to-1 ratio. Then there's the second technique of a 1-to-2, breathing in and then exhaling twice as long, right? So that's giving the ratio, the mathematician, to your breath. The third technique as an artist gives the circle to your breath, inhaling 1/2 of the circle and exhaling on the other half, right? That's circle breath. capsule breath, a fish oil capsule, the capsule of medicine of breath work, circle capsule breath, longer, elongating the down and the up, right? And then the third one is three-part breath, which is the box shape, which is 3 parts: belly, mid-torso, upper torso. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing in, exhaling all the way out. So there's your 5 different techniques. And then once again, rewinding to the sense that it's through the nose and not the mouth, keeping the mouth still and quiet and zipped, and breathing through the nose and the nostril, inhaling, and perhaps hearing the oceanic breath, the Ujjayi breath, the victory breath in your ears, and hearing the ebbs and the flows, the comings and the goings, the expansiveness of the cosmos, of the universe, and the coming down into every single cell of your body. So this is expansion and coming back in. So that's important too. And really, as I said, remembering the kumbhaka, the pausing at the different components of the inhale and the exhale. It's just you're not holding your breath. You're not holding your breath. It's just a brief pause, a pause. And it's a kumbhaka. It's just that transition. We're all in transition and changing. We're moving, and that's the capture of that. So we're capturing that change and transition in that pause. And it's an invitation to just explore another component of that breath cycle. So as I said in the beginning, all of these different experiences of breath work, breath techniques can be incorporated into meditation and or in your movement for yoga and Tai Chi. Whether it's expanding your arms outward on an inhale or in exhaling back in. I'm going to just close out our practice here with indeed circular breath with the Tai Chi movement, Qigong. So our hands are down by our side, and we'll do this 3 times. And so just follow along. The first 2 are verbal, and the last one is quiet, stillness. So palms are facing forward, arms are down by your side. We inhale our hands up and over, not as high as your head. And as they come approaching your head, you bend your wrists, and now your palms start to face downward. And then at the top of your forehead, you bring your energy down the column, the channel, to your energy source, your Tantien, your belly button. And then you repeat. So it's out to the side with your hands as they palms face forward. And around shoulder width, they begin to turn from the elbow, and the wrists turn. And now your palms are facing towards your forehead, and then downward they come to your Tantien. So it's exhaling downward. And now let's just do this silently. Here we go. Ready? It's the inhale up and the exhale out. Let's do that again. It's inhale up, exhale down. Wiggle the fingers on your hands and the toes on your feet. Coming to greater consciousness of the here and now. Wonderful. Well done, everybody. 5 different breathing techniques with some other ideas of how to improve your overall wellness package through meditation and movement, both for yoga and Tai Chi. Once again, this is Will DeGraw. I appreciate the opportunity to present this information. These handouts that I have presented will be embedded into the video, and I just thank you and honor you for your experience being here with me. We bow forward to each other and say Namaste. Namaste. Peace, peace, peace. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Shalom, shalom, shalom.